Hello and welcome to this week's vlog. This week I'm doing something a little bit different on the vlog, and I'm going to talk to you about cruising with kids. I get asked a lot by people that I know, friends, clients, things like that, about cruising with kids, why we chose to cruise with a child. Is cruising with a child good? Is it suitable for children? Is there much for them to do and things like that? And I thought, if there's people that I know just in where I live in the surrounding area that are unsure about this, then there must be lots of people elsewhere that are also a bit unsure about cruising with kids, if it's the right holiday as a family. And I thought I'd share some of our experiences with you of cruising with a child, as we have now gone with a 6-month-old and with a 4-year-old, and both times it was absolutely exceptional, and it really was a good experience for the whole family. So we have always cruised with P&O Cruise Line. We find their level of luxury really amazing. All the little touches just make the holiday extra special. The food on board, all the different dining options, the activities, there is just so much to offer with P&O. I started cruising with P&O 10 years ago, before I even met Mr. B, with my parents, and we all fell in love with it. And then when Mr. B came along, I introduced him to it. On his 30th birthday, we went on our first cruise together, and he absolutely loved it. He was apprehensive, which a lot of people seem to be with cruising, but once he stepped foot on that ship and started to see the level of luxury and all the things on offer, and he really fell in love with the whole experience. So then we had our little girl, and I thought, are we going to be able to cruise as a family? Is it going to be the family holiday that we, have hoped for? And then we looked into it, and actually I thought this is going to be the best option as a family. So to start with, P&O do cruises, so you pay for your first and your second passenger, and then it is £49 for the third and fourth passenger. So if you've got 2 children, you can only pay 50 quid for them, and that's for a week holiday, a 2-week holiday. So that is a real good deal. I know it's not a free child place, but 50 quid, they definitely get their money's worth for £50, well, £49. They have different offers on at different times, but from my experience, we have only ever paid £49 for our little girl to go, which is really good. And then the room options, so if you want an inside cabin, which is cheaper, when we went with her as a 6-month-old, they provided a travel cot for her, and we had that at the bottom of our bed. You can have it between 2 single beds, whichever you prefer. So they cater for younger children, but also they have Pullman beds, which are located above the usual beds, and they've got ladders, and it just basically turns it into a bunk bed, which obviously kids find fun. When we stayed on the ship last year, and that was called Iona, and we had a room which was the size of a balcony room, but it just had a porthole window, which we felt was safer with a young child. And that had a pull-out sofa bed, and we found that really good. We was all on the same level, it was quite a fun way of sleeping. But they also do offer them with Pullman beds too. So there's lots of options of sleeping arrangements. Plenty of space. I will say the inside cabin can be a bit tight with the travel cot and the Pullman beds. And if you can afford it, to possibly go for the balcony or the sea view cabin, as you do get a lot more floor space and a lot more area for kids to play and things like that. But saying that, you do spend a lot of your time out and about. You literally sleep and get dressed in your cabin, and that's it. So, if you want to go more of a budget, then you get plenty of space really just for sleeping and getting changed in an inside cabin. So, one of the other perks that we found is the fact that you can catch the ship from Southampton. So, we will drive down the day before, stay in a hotel around Southampton that offers parking for the duration of your stay, a taxi to the port. You usually get dinner, bed and breakfast, and it's a cruise package. If you call any hotels around Southampton, they quite often offer a cruise package, and they are usually really good deals, especially with your parking included, because that can be quite pricey at the cruise terminal. So two that we have stayed at is the Hilton, which is on the outskirts of Southampton, probably about 25 minutes away from the port, and another one called McDonald Botley Park, which is on a golf course, and that one is probably about 20 minutes away from Southampton, but you have to drive a little further into the countryside to get to it. Excuse me. So with that, you are eliminating the airport stress and craziness. You literally get down to your hotel, spend the night there. In the morning, have a leisurely morning, breakfast, tea, coffee. They usually put all this on for you. You get an allocated taxi time. They'll come and pick you up with all your suitcases, drive you down to the port where your ship will be waiting for you. The taxi driver usually takes your suitcases out of the taxi, and one of the people that works for P&O will just take those suitcases, put it on a conveyor belt for you, and you won't see that case until you get in your room, which is absolutely amazing. You don't have to worry about checking them in, weighing them, nothing. And another bonus is you can take as much luggage as you can fit in your car, basically, but they like it to not weigh over 20 to 25 kilos so that the people can lift it properly. But when you're traveling with a young child, that is obviously an amazing thing to have. When we traveled as with her being a 6-month-old, we took nappies, wipes, all of that in abundance. But we also took the Tommee Tippee machine with us, and pots of formula and everything, and we did take more baggage than we normally would, but there was absolutely no questions asked. As many bags as you want at a certain weight, and they're very happy with it. You can also take strollers, prams, car seats, things like that. Last year we took a scooter with us, and a trike, so that she had things to use to get around whilst we was on holiday. You just have to put a label on it and you can take it with you, so that is also a massive bonus. So when you get to the cruise terminal, bags have gone, you go inside, you have to sometimes fill out a health declaration form. It changes with COVID and things. Take a picture of you, you get your cruise card, and then you literally scan yourself, walk on the ship, and that is it. You are on holiday. That is the quickest way of getting on holiday that I've ever experienced. They usually show you where your muster station will be, and then there will be several places open for drinks and food, and you can wander around and explore the ship and just start your holiday like straight away. It is amazing. We haven't flown in about 7 years because the experience of going on a cruise from Southampton is so stress-free that we just don't want to put ourselves through the airport stress no more. So next is about your cabin. So travelling with a youngster, obviously you need a lot of things. With a 6-month-old, we really did need a lot of things. And we rang a few months before we wanted to book to see what P&O offered in way of things that we wouldn't have to take with us. So they gave us a travel cot. We took the Tommee Tippee machine ourselves, but they give you a steriliser for in your room. They will provide a baby bath for you. They can provide the travel cot. If you have a child that is sleeping in one of the Pullman beds or one of the lower beds, they can also give you a bed bar so that they don't fall out of bed. And then in all the restaurants, there was quite easily available high chairs and things like that, and the waiters are always so helpful. They will bring you a high chair in any restaurant, and that just solves most of your problems. You don't need to take loads of things with you like that. Literally we took the Tommee Tippee machine, nappies, formula, wipes, and the pram. So it couldn't get any easier really, but if you obviously are going abroad on a plane, you need to take a lot more things with you. So I would definitely recommend that for that reason. So once you get on board, most people sometimes think that cruising is more for the older generation. Now, cruising has changed a lot in the 10 years that I have been cruising. When we first started going, I must say there was the population of the 50s and overs. There was a lot of them. But these days, there is a lot of younger people cruising, families cruising, and cruise ships have definitely cottoned onto that, and they now cater for everybody. So for the younger generation and for children, there are things like Kids Club. There is Kids Club on P&O. They have different age range kids clubs. They have little babies. They then have sort of like toddler age, bit older, and then a teen room as well. So the teen room has gaming consoles, TVs, pool tables, things like that, things that are a bit cooler for teenagers to just go and escape and go and chill out in there. They then have a room like lower down for slightly younger children, and it's more like educational stuff, crafting. They will do sports. They go up to the sports arena and play things like football, basketball, so that's really good. And then they've got like the toddler range. So last year when we went, I think it was ages up to about 5 or 6. They had a different theme every day. So one day it'd be like under the sea, the next day it'd be like dinosaurs. There'd be lots of different things, and every day they had different activities to do with that theme. And they even had themed dinners, snacks, things like that to do with what they've been doing that day. So that was brilliant. Inside the kids club, there is a soft play area, crafting areas. There is quiet corners with books, pillows, things like that. They do have an outdoor play area which you can sometimes access yourself throughout the day with your cruise card. And then most of the ships also have a splash zone for you and your child to go in. So it's little splashy activity bits, which is great for any age kids really, up to teenage, and you have access to that quite freely. When we went last year, we went to Norway, around the Norwegian fjords, and with that we got off the ship in the morning, explored the ports, and then when we got back on, they did I think it was like 3 till 5 kids club, and our little one wanted to do that every single day. Every day she came out of there, said, "Can I go back tomorrow?" Which just shows you how much fun they actually have at these kids clubs. So we booked it for every day, 3 till 5, and that was actually perfect timing because we had all morning to go explore, have some lunch, chill out a bit before she went to kids club. She'd go in there for 2 hours, and that gave us a couple of hours to just spend some time together without being parents, you know. We went swimming on our own, we went for afternoon tea, we found a hot tub one day, just sat in there. You cannot leave the ship if your child is in the kids club for obvious reasons, but there is plenty for you to go and do for a couple of hours and just spend some time together. So that was lovely. In the evening, they also did kids disco and kids tea. So I think it's around 4:30. They start in the buffet in one area and they will do kids dinners. So things that are aimed more at children, you know, chicken nuggets, chips, fish fingers, that sort of thing. But to be fair, in any of the restaurants, you can get a kids menu, and it is got a wide range of things for children to eat. But if they're still not sure of anything on there, honestly, just ask the waiters. They are so accommodating. They will find you something that your child will eat. When we first went and the little one was 6 months old, we was starting weaning, and we had the pots with us, and we had the powder that you could just mix with hot water to make like a mushed up pasta kind of thing. And then also they will heat up the pots for you. They will bring you hot water. You know, they will do everything that they can to also include your child. So that is really easy. I think they also do sell some of the weaning pots on board. But also, if you just want them to sort of blitz up some bits for your child, like some vegetables, they will also do that for you at dinner time. So, all the other pools on board, you've got the splash zone for the kids on most of the ships. Hot tubs, they do not allow children in for obvious reasons because of the heat and everything. But all the other pools, you are allowed to take your child into. They are mostly heated. On Iona, which we went on last year, they had infinity pools on 2 of the decks, and that was absolutely amazing to go in, especially with the scenery surrounding you. On Iona, they also had an indoor pool, which they have a retractable roof. So I know that a couple more ships like Ventura and Arcadia also have these ships. So they're a real good option for if you're going somewhere that's not overly warm. I do know that on some ships like Britannia, they do have an adults only pool. It is a smaller pool. It's got some larger sun lounges around it, but there is plenty of option for you to take your children, and one pool adults only isn't really that bad. Like I said earlier, they do have a sports court on board, also with a driving range, just like the nets, and then they'll have a large sports court, football on it and basketball on it. Sometimes they have tennis nets, so that's really good. We've been up there a couple of times with the tiny baby child and we have played basketball, and it was a really good way to just burn off some energy and spend an hour together as a family. They also have on some of the ships like mascots. So when we was on Iona last year, they had Wallace and Gromit and Shaun the sheep, and they had those big dress up costumes with the masks and everything, and they walked around the ship and they said hello to all the children, and that was a really lovely activity. And they also go into the kids club during the day and they visit the children, and the children get to do activities with them, so that's also a really nice touch from P&O there. They do also have films on board, so you can watch films sometimes in a dedicated room. On Iona, they had a 4-screen cinema. I know on Britannia, Ventura, they also used a room for sort of talks for about where the ports you were going, but they also use that for films during the day. They do also quite often use the main theatre to show films during the day when there's no shows or rehearsals going on. Most days they do try and show a child's film, something that a kid would enjoy watching. We watched Aladdin with Will Smith for the first time on the cruise. We've watched a new Puss in Boots film on the cruise. So they really do cater for younger people to watch these films, and that's another lovely thing to sit and do as a family whilst you're on holiday. Another bonus, whilst you are on the cruise, some people might be concerned about getting on and off the boat when you are going round on your holiday and all the different ports. So we have never had an issue with this. I also have, my mum has a disability, so she needs accessible ramps and things. And every port we've been to, they have had an accessible ramp where you can get prams, wheelchairs, walkers, all sorts of things on and off the ship really easily. And if you are struggling, got your hands full, there is always a steward there to help you on and off the ship, and they could not be any more helpful. And moving on to that, the staff on P&O are absolutely fabulous. They really do look after you. Any question they will answer, try and answer for you. They cannot be any more helpful if they tried. A lot of them, they are drawn to the kids. They have kids at home that they haven't seen for 6 months or longer at a time, and that must be really difficult on them. So I think seeing children, it reminds them of their family back home, and they're so lovely. We've met so many lovely people that work on board the ship, and we could not thank them enough really for the amount of help that they have given us traveling as a family, which I feel like you might not get anywhere else, in like an all-inclusive hotel. They don't have as many staff, so you may not get as much help. So yeah, that is us cruising as a family in a nutshell really. I just wanted to give some information across that might be helpful to anyone that is considering it. I would definitely recommend it. I have recommended it to people before. They have gone and they have loved it, and they have said how much easier it is with younger children as a family, and that they loved cruising and that they're going to continue to cruise. And we are definitely the same. P&O, we will always cruise with P&O. I don't really want to try any other cruise line because we love it so much. We know what we're going to get. We know the standard that we're going to get every time we step on board that ship is just going to be fabulous, and we're going to relax instantly and have the best holiday going. So I hope some of this information has been helpful to you if you're wondering about cruising, and I hope that some of the pictures have helped you see what it can be like cruising with kids. So yeah, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. If you've got any questions, please put them in the comments and I'll definitely get back to you as soon as I can with some information. If you feel like it, ring P&O. They are so helpful on the phones. They will give you as much information as they possibly can. So yeah, if you like this video, I've also got an Instagram page, Free Bears Adventures. We're posting over there quite a lot, so go and follow us over there. But for now, I hope you've liked this week's video. Take care and ciao for now.